I was watching the Tom Brady, not roast, but he had he got inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. And I was thinking, one thing I took away from that, they had all his ex-teammates came in. They packed out Gillette Stadium. But the biggest thing I noticed was when Randy Moss got on stage to speak about Tom, like they said Randy Moss, and then the crowd went nuts. Then they gave him a standing O. Then everybody started chanting Randy, and then he got a little misty-eyed, tearing up and stuff. And then I was like, has anyone in the history of sports had a bigger turnaround on how people feel about him than Randy Moss? You're looking at a guy that got kicked out of high school for getting in a fight, and then we come to find out he really was just defending his friend, but they made it this racial thing, like he attacked these white dudes, which if you know Randy, you know that's not him at all. And then gets his scholarship rescinded from Notre Dame, gets his scholarship rescinded from Florida State for smoking weed and getting in a fight. And now we look at smoking weed like it's nothing. But back then, you looked at somebody smoking weed like they was a drug head, a criminal, everything else. And then to get in the NFL, and they had a few issues in Minnesota, but it was pretty minor. But he gave the ultimate quote, straight cash, homie. When somebody says, how you going to pay somebody? And you wonder why the public always liked Randy is because when you run into him and then you got to know him, and I've got to know him over the years, and he's become a pretty good friend of mine. He's just when I say country, I mean country. I mean West Virginia, just wants to go fishing type deal. And then now to see him go to Tom Brady's Ring of Honor enshrinement and to have the crowd go nuts when they see him, I was like, I'm sure those tears was more of just a culmination of his whole life. I was like, I just, when that happened, I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen an athlete do a turnaround like that. Like Michael Irvin somewhat. He was, he had his issues in Dallas with drugs and women, but I mean, if you're a star athlete for the Dallas Cowboys when they're winning, yeah, surprise, you're gonna get some puss. And then he's had a big turnaround, but I'm talking about from high school. Randy Moss, we knew about Randy Moss in high school having these issues, and then to be the best at your position, not one of the best. Like when Randy Moss in college and in pros for a certain amount of years, it wasn't even a close second. And to see how people villainized him when he never bothered nobody. He really is one of the guys I want to play football, I want to make money, and leave me alone. And then he gets into broadcasting, and he's like crushing it there. And to see like the crowd just go nuts, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a bigger turnaround as far as public perception.